Okay, we are going to continue with the exercises we were working yesterday.
Mister, may I ask you a question?
Tell me,
Uh,
yes?
uh, we have to send you home the pages you leave us every Friday or every weekend, right?
Yes, at the end of the week, it's okay.
Okay.
And you are going to send today the pages from this topic and the last topic, okay, from the Monday. So continue, I think that we can solve the example 3. Yesterday we don't solve the example 3 to interpret slope. Okay, the exercise says, the graph shows the distance a car travels over time. We need to find the slope of this line. What does it mean in the problem situation? So we are going to find the solution and we are going to interpret what this means in the problem, okay? So the slope is going to be rise over run. Remember, in this case, rise is the value for the x, for the y, sorry, the vertical line. And the run is going to be the value for the x. This is the horizontal part you have on the graph. So we replace the values. Tell me.
What page are you in?
Page 125. I'm going to write it in here, page 125. Okay. We are going to draw the graph and later I solve it with you. Interpret the slope. We have this in here, the graph, and you have this part. We are going to use 4 values, 1, 2, 3, 4. And for the other part, I have 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. For this one, I'm not going to write all the values because I don't have much space in here. But you can see that the graph is a straight line. This is a straight line. It's not completely straight. I'm going to make it again, to draw it again. It has to be a straight line. I think this is better. Okay. And you have the points on the graph. You can see the points you have. When you have 2, 4x is 120. 110, sorry, 110 for y. 2, 4x and 110 for y. In the other part, you have 4x and 220 for y. 4 and 220. Okay. So what I'm going to do in here, remember about the formula, okay? The equation you have is that k, or my slope, is equal y over x. But you don't have only one value for y. Remember, and the same for x. You are going to have 2 values, 2 different values. Because you have one in this point in here and one in this other point. You are going to use the 2 points to find one value for the slope. So to obtain k, I need to use 220 minus 110. 220 minus 110. This is over the part in x. It's going to be 4 minus 2. Remember, I subtract the greater value minus the least one. 4 minus 2. So in k, what are you going to obtain? 220 minus 110 is 110. This is divided by 4 minus 2. That is going to be 2. So you obtain that the slope is 55. And what this represent in the graph, what this represent on my exercise? That the car is moving 55 miles in 1 hour. The equation, you can write the equation to represent this. What is the equation I have for this? Y equal K multiplied by X. Remember, this is the other equation we were using yesterday. Y is equal K multiplied by X. And I already have the value for K. K is going to be 55. So I have that Y is equal 55X. And what is going to happen with here, with this in here? For example, if X is one hour, you have 55 miles. But if X is 2 miles, you are going to have 110 miles. Okay, depending on the number of hours you have for X, the equation is going to give another value for the number of miles or for Y. So this is the equation. You have two equations to use. The first one is to obtain the equation of the graph, and the other one is to find the value for the slope. So you use the two equations, remember about it. Don't forget about the equations. Okay, now we continue with the other part. I don't know if you want to try no, I think that try it, you're going to do it alone. I'm going to the next page with the key concept, and we start the classwork because you are going to send these pages later. So Josue Valle is on the waiting room. I don't know what happened with Josue. Page 126, I'm going to write it on the chat. Okay. Now we can go to the other example, the part that says key concept. Slope is the measure of the steepness of a line. It represents the radius of the rise. The rise is the vertical distance, remember, of the rise to the run. And what is run? Run is the horizontal distance or the values in X. So between 2 points in the same line. Remember, we have 2 points, 1 point and 2 points. In proportional relationships, a slope is the same as the unit rate and constant of proportionality. Okay, the slope, that is why I'm using the K. I'm using the same variable because it's going to be the same. If the slope is rise over run, it's going to be Y over X. So the change in Y coordinates divided by the change in X coordinates. And you change the values Y2 minus Y1 divided by X2 minus X1. I don't need to solve this because you already have it on the book. It's solved. I'm only going to explain you the graph. In the graph, you can see that the vertical line represents the cost, the Y is representing the cost, and X is representing the number of tickets. So depending on the number of tickets you buy, you are going to have a different cost. If you change the value for X, you are going to change the value for Y. So in the first example, you have, if you take 5 for X, you have 75 for Y. So if you buy five tickets, you are going to pay $75. The other one, if you buy 3 tickets, you pay $45. But how can you find the slope in this? You can use 2 points to obtain the value. But remember that I already told you yesterday that when you have, for example, in the first point, 1 for X and 15 for Y, you already have the value of the slope. Remember that you are going to divide Y over X. You have the value for y is 15. And what is the value for x? Only 1. So when you divide 15 by 1, you are going to obtain the same number, that is 15, and this is the value for the slope. So you don't need to do more anymore. The slope is going to be 15. One ticket 15 costs $15, so the constant of proportionality is 15. Now we can start, if you want, solving the equations from the topic, the classwork, to solve the workbook with you. Okay, do you understand? And the first question you have is, what is slope? What is slope? Slope, we have the answer in the part above, in the key concept. Slope is the same as the unit rate and constant of proportionality. Or you can watch from another better answer. For example, if you have one better answer, you have in the page 124, the slope of the line is the ratio rise over run, or y over x. But this is appropriate too. Slope is the same as the unit rate and constant of proportionality, and you already have, and you already know what is the constant of proportionality. We divide y over x. So this is the slope. Question number 2. How is the slope related to a unit rate? Okay, they are the same. Slope is the same as the unit rate. They are both the same. They are the same. Remember, you divide y over x. Number 3. Look for relationships. Why is the slope between any 2 points on a straight line always the same? Why is the slope between any 2 points on the graph always be the same? Okay, remember, you have a proportional relationship, so the distance between each point has to be the same. The distance between each point has to be proportional. The words already said, okay, proportional. So that's the reason why you can take any 2 points and you are going to obtain the same answer. Okay, they have the same distance, 1 point from each other. Now we have more practical exercises in the next part, in the part of the right. The question is, do you know how? And the question number 4, what is the slope of the line? What is the slope for this line? We can use 2 points from this and we need to calculate. We can use 2 points. For example, the first one you can take, you need to take the points that are completely aligned with the grid. Okay? For example, look, when you take 1 for x, you have 3 on y. What is going to be the slope? Without solving the exercise, you already know it. If x is 1, the value of the slope is going to be the value of y. So the slope is going to be 3. If you take 1 for x, the slope is going to be the value for y you have, because remember, you divide the value of y over the value of x. So if you divide the value of y, that is 3, by the value of x, that is 1, you are going to obtain the same value for y, that is 3 in this case. Or you can find it if you want. If you have the other value, that is 2 for x and 6 for y, you can subtract using these 2 points, but you are going to obtain the same. You are going to complicate your life by nothing, because you already have it. So the slope is 3. Exercise number 5. The scale of a model airplane is shown in the graph. We need to find the slope of the line using y2 minus y1 1 divided by x2 minus xy, x1. What does the slope mean in the problem situation? Well, okay, we are going to solve this. In the model airplane, the scale is represented in this graph. X is the number of centimeters and Y is the number of feet. Okay, they are using different scales. They are representing in the same graph the number of centimeters and the number of feet. We are going to solve this with you, but it's very easy. Remember, you have the 2 points. The first point is 3 for X and 5 for Y. The other point is 6 for X and 10 for Y. So we need to subtract this to find the value. I'm going to erase this, and I solve the exercise with you to find the slope. What do you need to know to find the constant of proportionality in here is Y over X. So K is going to be the values of the Y. You subtract 10 minus 5. Remember, you subtract the two values of the Y, you subtract the greater minus the least, okay? But the point that is above. And for X is 6 minus 3. So K is equal, 10 minus 5 is 5, and 6 minus 3 is 3. So this is the slope, 5 over 3. And what is representing this? If K is 5 over 3, this is representing that for every 5 feet, you have only 3 centimeters in this scale. For every 5 feet, you have 3 centimeters. And based on the graph for the airplane. This is the practical part, practice and problem solving, page 127. Page 127 is the practice and problem solving. Okay. Level practice. In exercise 6 and 7, we need to find the slope of each line. For example, the number 6, the graph can show the number of soda bottles of a machine can make over time. Use the 2 points shown to find the number of soda bottles the machine can make per minute. How can we know this, guys? We are only going to complete. We already have the 2 points, so I'm going to do the same like in this example. Okay, so we have the 2 points. We have the 2 points, K is Y over X. You have 150 minus the other value for Y, that is 50 over the values for the X, that is 6 minus 2. You need to complete this in the blank spaces. In the blank spaces, you have 6 minus 2 equal, K is equal 100 over 4. I can simplify this, and the machine can make 25 bottles of soda per minute. 25 soda bottles in each minute. So this is the slope in here, 25. The time is represented in minutes in the x-axis, and y is representing the number of bottles of soda. In the number 7, I think that you already copy in here to the blank spaces. the number 7 and the last one we are going to solve, I think. We need to find the slope of the line. The slope again is rise over run. Rise is x and run is rise is y. Sorry, rise is y. Rise is y. I'm going to repeat it with you together so we don't forget. And we don't get confused, guys. Remember, if you divide in the wrong way, if you divide the values in different order, it's going to change your answer. So it's y on the top and x is on the bottom. How can we find the slope of the line? You can see that when you have 2 for x, we need to take 2 points in here. When you have 2 for x, y is 10. So if we obtain the half of this, you divide. When you have 1 for x, the y is 5. So you divide 5 for y, and for x you take 1. 5 over 1 is going to be 5. So what is going to be the slope? The slope in the last line is 5. You only take one point, remember. If you take 1 for x, the slope is going to be the value you take for y. Okay. I'm only going to explain you the other ones. For example, the 10, you need to find the slope of the line. You have the graph that passed through the origin. Only that this is taking negative numbers, but it's okay. It's going to be a valid number. You need to find the slope, so you are going to use the 2 points you have represented on the graph. You have 2 points and you can see that they are counting by 2. For example, 2, 4, 6, 8 in the values of y. Can you see it? Every part of the grid represents 2. And for the x is the same, only that they are negative. Negative 2, negative 4, negative 6, and negative 8. So you take the points, you take the 2 points, and you are going to find the value. If it's between the 2 lines, I think that it's going to be 1. So for example, in the first point you have 1 for x, and for the y is going to be negative positive 2. I think that is like this. I'm only going to represent the negative part so you can see it. I'm not going to all the graph. I'm only going to represent this part you have in here, and you have the equation, this part of the graph. This is y, this is x, and this is the point you have. You have 1 point in here and 1 in here. So watching at the grid, you can say, for example, that the first point is negative 1 for x and is 2 for y. And the other point is going to be negative 3 for x, negative 3 for x, and it's going to be positive 6 for y. So these are the 2 points that you are going to use to find the values. You subtract this minus this. So I'm going to finish the class in here, guys. I hope that you understand. If you have any question later, you can write to my email. Have a nice day. Take care, and I'm going to see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.